Canada becomes only the second country in the world to legalize marijuana. We'll take an in-depth look at Canada's legislation and the possible implications for the United States. Hello, I'm John Terrett, sitting in for Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Canada recently became the first industrialized nation in the world to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes. The policy change is a reflection of strong public support, and it fulfills a campaign pledge of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who's acknowledged marijuana prohibition does not work. Several other countries are considering following Canada's lead, but have signed international drugs treaties that forbid the sale of recreational marijuana. Let's begin with this report from CGTN's Karina in Toronto.
Come this October, marijuana will be legal for recreational purposes all across Canada. Each of its 10 provinces and its 3 territories will decide for themselves how to roll out the new law, making decisions on the minimum age and whether the private sector or the government will be responsible for distribution.
It is absolutely not our intention at this time to move forward on legalization of all drugs. We're very much focused on the control and legalization of marijuana because the current system is not working.
Canadians overwhelmingly support the decision to legalize cannabis for recreational purposes. But there's one snag. It violates the 3 international drug treaties it has signed.
Those United Nations conventions restrict signatory countries from selling drugs, including marijuana, for recreational purposes. The International Narcotics Control Board, or INCB, that regulates compliance with the treaties could impose minor sanctions against Canada, but lawyer Andrew Bernstein doubts it will.
The only country that's ever been sanctioned under these treaties is Afghanistan with respect to its poppy trade. So, we're not really on the same scale here. We're not exporting heroin around the world. We're just legalizing cannabis for domestic use.
Uruguay legalized recreational marijuana, and the INCB didn't sanction them. Legal scholars like Rujin Habibi say perhaps the biggest problem with non-compliance is it weakens the whole notion of international treaties.
You're chipping away at a system that's already being jeopardized from other quarters, from other countries, and it certainly doesn't help promote the rule of law on an international scene.
Canada could withdraw from the treaties and then reapply with a marijuana exemption, but there's no guarantee it would be readmitted. Bernstein says it's better for Canada to stay in the treaties, even if not fully compliant.
There's lots of things that Canada and Canadians are still very supportive of, like prohibition of, cocaine, opium-related drugs, things like that, and stopping international trafficking of those kinds of drugs.
How the international community reacts to Canada's new law will be closely watched. Many other countries are considering legalization of marijuana too, but are leery of running afoul of their international commitments. Karina, CGTN, Toronto.